Hi, welcome to video number 6. So now we're to the closing process. So we've completed our adjusting journal entries and then we've completed our financial statement. So now it's time to get our records ready for the next period. So we'll close the temporary accounts. So closing entries are journal entries. So I'll click onto the journal entry page and I'm going to put my closing entries right here. Now I need to look at my temporary accounts to find out what the balance is to close. I could look either at my general ledger, which will have all my temporary account balances, or I can look at my trial balance, which will have the exact same accounts and the same balances. So I'm just going to copy this over there so that I don't have to keep clicking back and forth. So I'm going to just put a little copy of it right here. Alright, so these are all the accounts that I have, and I only want to close the temporary accounts. So the temporary accounts are withdrawals and revenues and expenses. So the accounts that I'll be closing are these. So the first step in my closing entries is to close revenues and expenses to capital. So if I want to close my revenue account, it has a credit balance. So to close it, I'll debit it. It's called fees earned. So I'm going to debit it. Oh, that's for my date, sorry. Fees earned, so I'm going to debit it for $7,600. Now I need to close my expenses. They all have a debit balance, so if I want to get their balance to 0, I'm going to credit it. Alright, so salary expense needs to be credited for $2,300, rent expense needs to be credited for $400, and supplies expense needs to be credited for $1,600. So the net of all of those need to close to capital. So if I say $7,600 minus each of those expenses, I can find out how much I need to close to capital. So the balance is $3,217, and that's going to go to capital. There'll be a credit to capital because I closed net income should increase my capital. If it was a net loss, I would require a debit. Alright, so the last step is to close drawing to capital. So drawing has a debit balance, so I need to credit drawing, and therefore I will be debiting capital, which will reduce that capital account for $2,000. Alright, so that's the two-step closing process, and I'll just put in a date, 9/30/2018 on each of those journal entries so that we'll see that that's at the end of the period for those. And then the next video will be me posting those to the ledger. Each time you journalize, it'll always be followed by posting, which will be followed by trial balance.